Sierra sat cross-legged on the stiff hotel bed, her back pressed against the headboard as her phone screen cast a cold light across her face. The gentle whir of the air conditioner filled the silence, but her focus was on the scrolling chaos of her social media feed. Comments and likes surged with every refresh, a digital reminder of the world she had created for herself. The Mirage, her fan base, had been especially vocal tonight. They always were, weaving theories about the show and attacking anyone who dared to criticize her. Their loyalty should have felt flattering, but instead it weighed heavily on her chest. They weren't fans anymore. They had become a force she couldn't control, one that acted on her behalf, whether she wanted them to or not. Her phone buzzed, pulling her away from the feed. The name on the screen made her stomach twist. Michael. She opened the message instantly. It was simple, just 3 words. I miss you. Her pulse quickened as she stared at the screen. They had been careful, so careful, but Michael's messages always hit her like a wave, stirring up emotions she had buried long ago. They weren't kids anymore, sneaking glances in the high school hallway or passing notes in class. They were adults now, tethered to lives they had built separately. He with Jasmine, she with the carefully curated persona of Sierra Monroe, the wellness guru. And yet, here they were, tied together by a past neither of them seemed able to escape. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. She shouldn't respond. She owed herself that much. But the pull was undeniable. I miss you too, she typed, before she could overthink it. The reply came almost instantly. We need to talk, Sierra. This isn't what I expected. Her breath hitched. What wasn't what he expected? The affair? The weight of their shared history? She wanted to ask, but instead, she set her phone down on the nightstand, its screen glowing like an unanswered question in the dim room. 2 years earlier, back then, life had felt simpler. Sierra was still a rising influencer, known for her candid videos about mental health and wellness. She had started posting during one of her lowest points, finding solace in sharing her struggles with anxiety and self doubt. Her authenticity resonated with people, and her following grew rapidly. It was during that rise that Darius had found her. The first time they met, it was a sleek rooftop event in downtown Atlanta. Sierra had been invited as a guest speaker to share her story about overcoming anxiety and building a personal brand. Darius, as always, was there scouting for new talent. His eyes lit up the moment she took the stage. She had spoken with a raw honesty that was rare in the influencer world. It's not about perfection, she had said, her voice steady but warm. It's about showing up, even when you feel like you can't. Her audience had hung on every word, captivated by her authenticity. After her speech, Darius approached her, his charm on full display. That was incredible, he said, offering her a dazzling smile. You have something special, Sierra, a presence that people can't ignore. She had smiled politely, used to compliments, but weary of strangers who seemed too eager. Thank you. I'm just sharing what's helped me. Darius leaned in slightly, lowering his voice as if they were already co conspirators. You're doing more than that. You're building a movement. But if you really want to take it to the next level, you need to think bigger. She tilted her head, intrigued despite herself. And what does bigger look like to you? Reality TV, he said without missing a beat. I'm producing a new show, Love in Rocket City. It's going to be a mix of ambition, drama, and real life connections. You'd be perfect for it. Sierra laughed, a light, nervous sound. Reality TV? That's not really my brand. Not yet, Darius countered smoothly. But think about the reach, the opportunities. Your message could go from thousands to millions. You'd have a platform like no other. She hesitated, her mind racing. The idea of reaching more people was tempting, but she had heard enough horror stories about reality TV to know it wasn't all glamorous. I don't know. I've worked hard to build something real. I don't want to lose that. Darius's expression softened, his tone taking on a note of sincerity. And that's exactly why you'd be perfect. You're real. People are starving for that. The show would just amplify what you're already doing. They had talked for over an hour that night, Darius weaving a vision of fame and influence that was almost impossible to resist. By the end of the conversation, he had convinced her to at least consider it. You don't have to decide right now, he had said as they parted ways, but think about it. The world deserves to see what you have to offer. Sierra had gone home that night and stayed awake until the early hours of the morning, weighing the pros and cons. She thought about the stories she could tell, the lives she could impact, but she also thought about the scrutiny, the invasive cameras, and the potential loss of control. In the end, the allure of a larger platform won out. She called Darius the next day and said yes. New episodes every week. Like, share, subscribe. It wasn't long after joining the show that Sierra's fan base began to shift. The Mirage, as they came to be known, started as a group of loyal supporters who admired her transparency and positivity. But as the drama of Love in Rocket City unfolded, their devotion took on a darker edge. The first incident came after an early episode where Jasmine had made a cutting remark about Sierra's brand. Within hours, the Mirage had flooded Jasmine's social media with hateful comments, accusing her of being jealous and fake. Screenshots of the most vicious messages were posted on Reddit and Twitter, creating a frenzy that spiraled out of control. Jasmine's mentions were filled with venom, threats, slurs, and even photoshopped images designed to humiliate her. One message stood out, a DM that read, "You don't deserve to breathe the same air, Sierra. Watch your back." Jasmine has shared it publicly, captioning it, "This is what happens when you're a Black woman who speaks her mind." The post went viral, sparking debates about toxic fandoms and online harassment. Sierra had been horrified. She drafted a public apology, urging her fans to stop the attacks, but her words fell on deaf ears. The Mirage saw her statement as a test of loyalty and doubled down, arguing that Jasmine was playing the victim. Behind the scenes, Sierra had confronted Darius. "This has to stop," she said, pacing the floor of his office. "They're out of control. Jasmine doesn't deserve this." Darius leaned back in his chair, his expression one of practiced indifference. "Fan engagement is through the roof. This kind of buzz is what makes stars, Sierra." "But at what cost?" she snapped. "People are getting hurt." Darius raised an eyebrow. "People get hurt every day. You can't control what your fans do, but you can control how you benefit from it. That's the game, Sierra. Play it or get played." Sierra had left his office feeling sick. She didn't want to play this game, but it seemed like there was no way out. The Mirage continued to grow, their loyalty transforming into an almost cult like obsession. They dug up personal information about cast members, created elaborate conspiracy theories, and even started campaigns to have Jasmine removed from the show. Sierra's silence only emboldened them. At one point, a group of Mirage members hacked into Jasmine's private email account, leaking embarrassing messages to the press. The scandal made headlines, but Jasmine refused to back down. I'm not going anywhere, she said in an interview. If they think they can scare me, well, they must not really know who I am. The tension between Jasmine and the Mirage reached a boiling point during a live reunion special. As the cast sat on a sleek stage under glaring lights, the host brought up the fan drama. Sierra, your fans are passionate to say the least. What do you have to say about the accusations that they've gone too far? Sierra hesitated, the weight of 100 eyes and a million viewers pressing down on her. I've always encouraged positivity and kindness, she said carefully. I don't condone any kind of harassment or threats. Jasmine cut in, her tone sharp. But you haven't stopped it, have you? Your silence speaks volumes. The audience gasped, and the camera zoomed in on Sierra's face. She felt cornered, exposed. After the show, the Mirage unleashed their fury on Jasmine once again. The hashtag cancel Jasmine trended for days, fueled by fake accounts and viral memes. Sierra wanted to say something, to defend Jasmine, but Darius convinced her to stay quiet. Let it blow over, he said. The drama will fade, but your star will keep rising. Now, 2 years later, Sierra couldn't shake the guilt. She hadn't asked for the Mirage's loyalty, but she had let them run unchecked. Their actions had taken on a life of their own, and she was powerless to stop it. Or maybe, she thought bitterly, she just didn't have the courage to try. Later that day, Sierra found herself sitting across from Trent at a quiet coffee shop on the outskirts of Rocket City. The shop was one of those unassuming places where no one cared about celebrity drama, and that made it perfect for their hushed conversations. Trent's sharp eyes scanned the room as if expecting someone to be listening in, his demeanor both cautious and cocky. Nice of you to show up, Trent said, his lips curling into a wry smile as she sat down. I thought you might be too busy hand feeding the Mirage their next hit list. Sierra bristled, but she refused to rise to the bait. Is this what you called me here for, to throw shade? Trent leaned forward, resting his chin on his hand. Oh no, sweetie, the insults are free. The advice, however, comes with a pretty price tag. She rolled her eyes, but her curiosity got the better of her. All right, Trent, what pearls of wisdom do you have for me today? Stop letting Darius play with you, he said bluntly, his tone cutting through the pretense. You think you're in control, but newsflash, you're not. He's got you on a leash so tight, even the Mirage can't save you. Sierra narrowed her eyes. And what would you know about it? Trent's smirk faded, replaced by something more serious. I know that you're better than this, Sierra. Or at least you used to be. Now, you're just another cog in Darius's drama machine. Her defenses shot up, but before she could respond, Trent held up a hand. Look, I get it. The fame, the money, the influence, it's intoxicating. But you're drowning in it. And the worst part is, you don't even realize it. Sierra crossed her arms, her gaze steady. And you care because I used to respect you, Trent said, his voice softening. You had something real, something people actually believed in. Now, you just a cute puppet with Darius pulling the strings. His words stung, not because they were harsh, but because they were true. Sierra looked away, her fingers tightening around her cup. I don't need a lecture from you, she said finally. You don't know what it's like being in my position. No, but I know what it's like to have a voice, Trent shot back, and you're wasting yours. Silence hung between them, heavy and uncomfortable. Finally, Trent leaned back, his smirk returning. But hey, what do I know? I'm just the guy calling out your bullshit online. Keep doing what you're doing, Sierra. It's great content. She glared at him, but there was no denying the glimmer of truth in his words. Trent might be infuriating, but he wasn't wrong. And that was what scared her the most. New episodes every week. Like, share, subscribe.